Hey guys, welcome to another YouTube video and welcome to episode number 2 of my season preview, 2023 season preview for the Monster Energy AMA Supercross Championship. Of course, last episode I talked about, of course, if you guys had missed it, go check it out. Talked about, of course, the new Super Motocross World Championship, then the 3 title contenders in Eli Tomac, Jason Anderson, and Cooper Webb. Excuse me. So in this episode, I'm going to talk about the 4 riders who I think are going to most likely also get could win races, but obviously are not not on the level of Tomac, Anderson, and Webb, and that is challenging for the championship. And those 4 are Justin Barcia, Ken Roczen, Malcolm Stewart, and Marvin Musquin. So we'll get straight into it. So we'll start off with Justin Barcia. We'll start off with him. Of course, it's his 3rd season in the Troy Designs Red Bull Gas Factory team, and his 10th season overall in the 450 Supercross class. We still can't believe that he's been in the class for that long. Really, he's been through the highs. I mean, he's of a future stardom earlier in his career, then in the process not getting a ride, then Yamaha, and then Yamaha factory team took him on and reinvigorated his career, and now he's on the gas team and all that sort of stuff. So unlike 2021, where he had where I think he also finished top 5 in the championship, he's become a bit of a consistent rider now for the last few years now. Has Bam Bam finished 5th in the championship last year, 6 podiums, but unfortunately had no wins, compared to obviously the last few years having the one win in 2019, 2020, and 2021. All of them were from the season opener, I might add. But yeah, the main thing is, obviously, from what I heard, it is a new bike. There's a new bike for the gas team. I think it was the KTM and the Husqvarnas last year had the new bike, while the gas machine had the old bike from 2021. I'd assume this year they have the new bike. This year for Justin Barcia, and I would assume in the 250 class, Michael Mosiman and Michael Mosiman and I can't remember his name. Pierce Brown, I think is his name. Yeah, that's his name. Pierce Brown. It stuck in my mind for a little bit. Pierce Brown will probably also be having new 250 machinery on as well. So yeah, and as I said about Eli Tomac in the last episode, I think KTM proved last year that a new bike does not work. It does not work. For some, a new bike could work. Could work at the start, but then basically not. But it didn't for KTM. Last year, with all being the one win. It wasn't a good year for everybody in that KTM camp. With KTM, Husqvarna, and Gas. I mean, they only had the one win combined out of those 3, which is Musquin, which we'll get to him in a bit. I still think that despite the new bike and my skepticism about the new bike, I still think he'll challenge for podiums. I think he'll definitely challenge for a win or two. And and now with him being in his 10th season, and I think he's about in his 30s now as well. Because the Gas team have only had the one bike in the 450 class, and that has been Barsha. Michael Mosiman is probably expected to if he does well in 2023, he'll probably be asked to move up. He'll be asked to move up. And that would mean, unfortunately, for Gas they would have to either build a second bike or let him go. And I don't think they would want to do either of that. So yeah, because this is the problem here, because I think because Barsha, he's nearing the end of it. Of course, he's like any other veteran in the field. He's had the success in the past. He now has a family, married as well. I think he's got his first kid, I believe, on the way as well. I would believe. I think yeah. So is Father Time going to catch up with him eventually? Because we all know what the next generation is coming. You know, Sexton, Ferrandis. You know, Webb's already established himself, of course, being a two-time champion. Adamsey and Cerullo. And even some of the 250 class, the Lawrence brothers, McAdoo, Shimoda, all of these guys are going to be up there, even in amongst Barsha's own team. I mean, with Mosiman and Pierce Brown, they're going to be at some stage wanting experience in the 450 class, and then some of these established guys, they've been there for years, like Tomac, like Barsha, Tomac, Anderson, Muscan, all these guys, are gonna call it careers. Some we don't know if this is going to be Tomac's last year of racing. We don't know about that. But yeah, I'll talk about it more in depth when we get to another episode where I talk about the next generation of riders as well, that are currently in the 450 class right now. But I think Barsha, this is probably an important year for him. Probably more of an important year for him in a way of basically showing all the doubters that he can mess it with these newer generation riders and that. So yeah. Of course, I mentioned about the failings of KTM, of course, having the one win. Gas, having no wins last year. But Husqvarna really did impress. It really was one of the standouts last year, and the one that really did stand out was Malcolm Stewart. Of course, Mookie finished third in the championship, which is a massive achievement for him. I mean, had 3 podiums. Was a consistent runner at the front throughout most of the season. And I think for me, I think it's probably a big year. And what stands out for me is there's pressure on Malcolm Stewart to get that first Supercross win. It's massive. There's massive pressure on everybody, from everybody, but most importantly from Mookie himself. And I'm confident that he can do that. I think I have confidence in him that he can do that this year. I mean, his family history. I mean, you know, his older brother James, we all know, two-time Supercross champion in his own right. It kind of just for me, what it feels like with Mookie is, it's like on a stage. It's like James has been in the spotlight all this time. You know, the amount of championships he's won, the races he's won. So on and so forth, and then you got behind the curtain. You got Malcolm Stewart behind the curtain. He's trying to break out of the curtain, but to try and step into the spotlight. But unfortunately, he hasn't been able to do that in recent years. I'm confident that he can step out of the curtain and say, ladies and gentlemen, Malcolm Stewart has arrived, and I think definitely he will surprise. Definitely, I think for me, a few experts in 2023. I think no doubt. I think there is no. Don't get me wrong. There is. I agree with a lot of people that there is pressure on him to get that elusive Supercross victory. I think for me, judging by his current form from based on 2022. It's only a matter of when, not if, it's gonna happen. So yeah. So I think for me, it is. I think for me, it is. For me, I think Malcolm Stewart. I think he's gonna be in for a big year, and I'll mention that later. Next up. Next ride I want to talk about is another one a part of that triple threat that is in the Austrian brand, Red Bull KTM and Marvin Musquin. Obviously, everyone thought that 2022 was going to be his final year of racing. There's still some talk that 2023 might be his final year in racing. But everyone thought that with the Supercross only deal, that this was going to be that 2022 was going to be his last year. Not anymore, it didn't, because he won one race, which was later in the season, and finished 4th in the championship. I mean, nobody has forgotten about that really. With Marv and why would he? You know, why would he? I know that there's probably a lot of, you know, next generation guys that are probably going to take Marv's seat in the future. But if he's still riding at a world-class level, why would you go around again? And if he finishes top 3 in the championship, it's going to be the same. Why wouldn't he go around in 2024? Why would he go around again? Why not? So, and probably what might force his hand is obviously, we'll talk about Chase Sexton in the next episode. That there's rumors that Chase Sexton will be going to KTM. There was recent rumors out there. I'll talk about that more in depth in the next episode. There's more rumors about that. What probably might force his hand is there's only 4 spots for 3 riders they don't go. One of them's gonna have to go, and for me, I don't see Cooper Webb going anywhere. For me, as I said in the last episode, I think he's either going to be staying at KTM or going to Star Racing Yamaha. It's either one of those two. I don't see him going to Team Honda HRC. I don't see that at all in Cooper. But I think more than likely, I think Cooper will stay. If they sign Chase Sexton, yeah, and then the choice is going to be either it will either have Marv retire or sack Aaron Plessinger. And for me, it'd be an absolute shame if they would to axe swing the axe on AP because he's such a cool and such an outgoing guy, and I think Red Bull KTM really needs that. It needs that type of guy because of course you have Cooper Webb, who is probably the most determined, the most toughest mentally in the whole field. Then if you add possibly Chase Sexton into that list as well, where you got the talent and all that sort of stuff, of course he had the one win this year and then basically challenging Tomac for the outdoor title. And then on the other side of things you got Plessinger, who's so fun, so outgoing, and he does this a lot, and he has the cowboy hat on, so fun. That's a guy. That's something I like in a rider, and that is they don't show the pressure on them. But back on the Musquin thing, I think Musquin, I think for me, that's the only way he'll retire is that KTM doesn't force him. I think that's the wrong word. I think it forced him into a decision where he just says, "Nah, all right. Unfortunately, there's no good seats for me. I'm done." So, which would be an absolute shame if he doesn't have another good year where he finishes, top 5, maybe top 3 in the championship, and then he is forced out of the KTM fold after so many years, being as the understudy for Ryan Dungey, and then being the leader of that team when Dungey retired, and then when Cooper Webb came in, and then of course Plessinger as well came in late last year. And then for him to be forced out because of Chase Sexton it's just going to be an absolute shame for the series, really, if someone like him retires in that case. But yeah, that's it. So that's it for Marvin Musquin. Now the final rider I want to talk about, not surprisingly, is a guy who's come off of being the first ever Supercross World Champion, ended his contract with Team HRC Honda, and now he's feel like a refreshed man on this Suzuki, and that one by the name of Kenny Roczen. Of course, first time since 2016 he was on a Suzuki. I mean, he was on the RCH Suzuki team from 2015 and 2016. That, of course, included, winning the outdoor title in 2016, which he couldn't defend in 2017 due to very, very, very obvious reasons. But anyways, he moved to Team HRC Honda anyways. So yeah, and I'm interested to see how he goes. How he goes on that Suzuki. I know with the Suzuki it's not as advanced. I mean, most of the teams have the electric start, while for Suzuki you have to kickstart it, and that it's not technically advanced at all. But it's about comfort. Bike comfort is probably is the most important thing. If that rider's comfortable on that bike, then it doesn't matter if it's a bike that's basically past its use by date. If that rider's comfortable on that bike, then there you go. There you go. Bob's your uncle. So I think for me, in other words, and this adds on to my next topic about Kenny very easily. For these few years, I mean, we all know he's never going to be. He has never been the same rider ever since he done both arm injuries in 2017 and 2018. He has never been the same. early 2021 was probably the closest to that, but he never has really been the same. ever seen in terms of personality wise. On the track, the closest was 2021, early 2021, but in terms of personality wise, he's never been the same. I mean, I remember watching the Supercross preview shows, and he was acting all obviously acting all cocky in that, which he should, because he's acting. If I was in his boat in 2017, if I was Kenny Roczen in 2017, and I know I'm one of the fastest riders in the world, I would act the same thing too. Just go, yeah, and he just acted as so, and it was just brilliant to see, really. And then unfortunately, it all came to a crashing halt in 2017 in Anaheim 2 when he did his arm. Really bad as well. And then obviously 2018, when it looked like he was about to, challenge for the 2018 title, did his arm again, which was the opposite one this time. And of course, and then of course came back in 2019 and then 2020. And then of course last year, when he won Anaheim 1, he was, everyone thought, oh, it's the new Ken Roczen. Will he win from start to finish? Unfortunately, he never did that. And unfortunately, he pulled out halfway through the season, and really was good for him because he just didn't have any confidence really to go on with, really. And some might say the pressure's been, for the last years, ever since he moved to HRC Honda in 2017, he's had this pressure on him to basically win them a Supercross championship, to win a Supercross title. Now that he's on Suzuki, on a team in HEP Motorsports, a team that is historically not been a front runner, historically not been a front runner, but and then obviously Suzuki hasn't been a front runner themselves for God knows how many years, basically. Is the pressure off, Kenny? Is the pressure off? He's got no. It's so much so he's got no pressure at all. And I won't be surprised if he goes on the box Anaheim 1 and just says either wins Anaheim 1 or is on the podium, finishes second or third at Anaheim 1 this weekend. I won't be surprised by that because that would mean the pressure valve is off. The pressure's off, and pressure's off him because he doesn't have that expectation of winning, of hoping to win a title off him. Probably that was off him when he won the Supercross World Championship last year with that two round series. Since that, it's pretty much pressure's off him, really. And as I said, I won't be surprised if he either wins Anaheim 1 or is going to be on the podium at Anaheim 1. I won't be surprised by that at all. Yeah. So yeah. Now to my two segments. Obviously, I was going to do this earlier, but I forgot to pretty much. The most under pressure rider out of these out of this group of 4 heading to 2023. Based on, again, the new bike factor, it's Justin Barcia. And also the fact, as I said, he's in his 10th season. He's got a family. He's nearing the end now. He's just as aggressive as ever. No one, he's not called Bam Bam for nothing. But in terms of, but it proved last year with KTM that running a new bike doesn't work. So yeah, so I wonder if Gas are going to be a victim of the new bike blues, which happened with KTM. It's either them or Yamaha that's going to do that. I don't know, but yeah. So yeah, and the fact that there's a lot of youngsters coming up wanting to go up to the 450 class, are hungry to go into the 450 class. It's no doubt about that that Barsha, all the pressure's going to be on him, and if he wins the race this year, then that pressure's off him for sure. But yeah, spotlight rider I would go towards. I was going to go with Roczen, but I've chosen Malcolm Stewart, and as I said, there's pressure on him to get that first Supercross win, and I think that he will do it this year. I think he will. As I said with that analogy, that he's behind the curtain. He's trying to get it, trying to step out of the curtain and step into the light. I think this is going to be. I think this is the year for him that he does that. I don't know when, but I think he will. But I think he will. But I think he will do it. I think, as I said, he will surprise a few experts in that in 2023 on board that Rockstar Energy Husqvarna. That's the end of this episode. As I'm recording this is the day before Anaheim 1. Obviously, here in Australia, Anaheim 1 is Sunday. Of course, in America, it is Saturday. Will be it will be Saturday night, of course, over there. So yeah, so I'll be trying to cram these episodes in as much as possible. I might even release the final episode of this series maybe tomorrow morning, Sunday morning, as I record this. But I don't know. So yeah, like this video, share to anybody who is a Supercross fan. Comment down below. Who do you think is the most likely out of these four, out of Barsha, Roczen, Stewart, and Musquin to win a race this year? Who's the most likely? Who's the most likely to win a race? I love to hear your opinions. You might say Barsha, you might say Roczen, you might say Stewart. Some people might say Musquin. Love to hear your opinions. And one last thing, somewhere down there, click on the big red button which is labeled subscribe. But until next time, guys, I'll see you guys later, and wherever you may be, may the sun or the moon shine on you. Let's hope that it shines on one of these four in terms of getting up on the top step of the podium in 2023.